multi tens of $1,000 trips to Asia, and they don't have ethics. He was foolish and incapable of having his job, and that let the president be immune from criminal liability, Justice Roberts to resign and get out of the seat that he can't hold properly. The committee has properly jurisdiction over constitutional amendments, of which I've had several over the years, dealing with pardon powers, dealing with emoluments clauses, and other areas where the president has trampled over our Constitution. It's a heavy responsibility to deal with constitutional amendments, and we should use it to address important structural reforms in our democracy, not to try to find political wedges. As Mr. Raskin has well pointed out, the number of justices on the Supreme Court is an historical artifact, not a component of our system of government. It's not the number that's important, it's that justices are impartial and act in accordance with the law. The justices on the Roberts Court, at least 6 of them, have it entirely wrong. They are supposed to have integrity, impartiality, fealty to the Constitution, and be unencumbered by the politics of the day. But today we have a court that refuses a binding code of ethics, even in the light of trips, multi tens of $1,000 trips to Asia, to hunting in Texas, all over the globe, and gifts to take care of justices' grandchildren's education and their mothers' houses from private individuals. Those refusing to have a binding code of ethics has allowed Mr. Justice Roberts' wife to interview and sell for up to $100,000 spots in large law firms that practice before the Supreme Court as a recruiting fee that Chief Justice Roberts never disclosed, because they don't have a code of ethics, and they don't have ethics. The Supreme Court does not show ethics to the people and morality. They operate as a political arm. It undercuts our core and explicit constitutional principles, like that no one is above the law, and meddles in politics in pursuit of partisan interests. For years, I defended this court, particularly Chief Justice Roberts. I thought that despite the outrageous conduct of Justices Alito and Thomas, who took these trips all the time, that the Chief Justice really wanted to preserve the court as an institution, which he said. I thought he would be the one to stand up for the court. But the past several years have shown he's incapable of doing that or didn't want to do it. Like other justices, when they're sworn into office, they take 2 oaths, one a judicial oath and 2 an oath to the Constitution. And they swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And they'll bear true faith and allegiance to that. And that they take the obligation freely without any mental reservation. That those oaths are taken, but Justice Roberts has not abided by it. He's lived up to neither. That's why I introduced 6 articles of impeachment on the Chief Justice. And I'd ask each member of this committee and each member possibly listening to join, because Chief Justice Roberts, unfortunately, deserves to be impeached and convicted and removed from the court because he has not done his duty and he's violated his oath. Article 1 of that resolution holds that he has enabled the court to become a political force and partial to specific partisan interests with unequal application of the law. He's interfered with elections. Article 2, he's violated the Constitution by creating a system that undermines the will of the people, can entrench minority rule, partisan gerrymandering. When Virginia passed a Democratic redistricting provision on the ballot in April, 7 or 8 days later, the Supreme Court released the Calais decision, which they could have done any time since last October when they had the hearing. But instead, they released the Calais decision right after Virginia. If Justice Roberts caring about the institutional respect for the court, he would not have issued that opinion then when it interfered with elections that were going on in Tennessee, mine, Louisiana, Alabama, and other states. But he didn't care. He released it. If he didn't realize the public would think that was political 7 days after Virginia and just in time to get some things going in the South where the former Confederate states could get rid of African-American districts, which they've been wanting to do forever, he was foolish and incapable of having his job and applying his oath properly. And then just this past week, he jumped up when Alabama wanted to move up and get a court that was different than the court that they had approved earlier with the 2 minority districts, and they said, oh, fine, do it. let them run under the district where there's one minority district. They didn't care about the Purcell rule then, and he applies the Purcell rule when he wants to. They came up with something that let the president be immune from criminal liability, and they grabbed that out of their backsides. There's no place in the Constitution that would have allowed them, but they pulled it up because they wanted to take care of Trump.
Time has expired.
So that's why I filed that resolution, and I urge people to support it, or Chief Justice Roberts to resign and get out of the seat that he can't hold properly.
Gentleman's time is expired. Recognized.